Hello, I'm Damon Zell, and this is your Echoes from the Front weekly news. Now, before I get started, if you can just click that subscription button and hit that bell to keep up to date with all our videos in the future, it would be most appreciated. Well, we have the first week of Echoes officially in the books, and for the most part, it's been rather smooth. But let's dig in and see what went down and how all of the Capsuleers have been handling New Eden. Let's start off with the RMT flooding the game day one. Unfortunately, it's like whack-a-mole. As soon as the devs strike one down, another pops up. In fact, I have reports of these companies contacting fellow content creators, asking if they could sponsor their videos. Now, developers have been busy banning these RMT bots and continue to state that buying ISK from RMT goes against their rules, and if you are caught, you will be banned. My official stance on RMT is that it's a cancer to all games in general. Now, the devs have several safeguards in place to combat cheating, and these measures have already snared multiple players running scripts for auto-mining. Ban waves have been issued to these players. Unfortunately, these bans are only for 30 days. Now, your boy Damon here, he uses his alt to AFK mine, but I just remote in from my PC from work to unload ore, set back out to a belt, and start shooting rocks again. Now, another tactic to combat cheating has been auditing. Now, unfortunately, this also causes problems due to the long audit times. It has held up money and items, and in some occasions with jettison, losing all items altogether. Now, there have been a few bugs in the game, none bigger than the skill system bug. Now, they have assured us that they caught this and corrected it on game launch day, August 14th. But they really didn't know how to go about resolving the issue. So what was the bug? Well, the bug is when the player put multiple skills in a queue before going offline. It would bump up their SP, in essence giving them more skill points than what was intended. Now, they caught this and they fixed it on the 14th, but it took them days to decide how to go about fixing this for everyone since it was an unintended exploit. They believe any change would cause further problems down the line. So what are they going to do? They decided not to penalize players who benefited from this because it was unintentional and just to let it rain skill points. That's right, everyone is now going to get a bump of 200k skill points on the 28th. That's part one. Part two will happen sometime in September, and this time only players who didn't benefit from that exploit will see additional skill points added to their characters. Another bug was the fleet loot share, which was broken after they ran an optimization patch for fleets. What this did was scoring different fleet members for loot distribution, i.e. bounties. And I experienced this myself. Fleet members were not getting bounties if they couldn't put up the same DPS as others. They have fixed this as of Saturday, so at least you can now group together and not worry about those sweet ISK ticks. Now let's dive into the community and see how they fared this first week. I've spoken to many pilots, and each in turn have told me some great stories of this first week. Pilot 13 tells me that jumping through 3 systems, he saw wildly different experiences to the game. The first was someone quitting, giving away all their money through contracts. The second, someone was telling a pirate, "Nice try." And the last was an RMT bot. Hark Wellstone states, as a former EVE Online player, he was pleasantly surprised when he tried out Echoes. He hadn't played in years, but all the nostalgia came flooding back when he heard that login music. He was able to claim his old EVE Online name, set out to mine in nullsec, and was blown away by how close to the core game Echoes has achieved. He also feels that beginning with a level playing field is perfect for new and old players to redefine the EVE landscape. A fellow content creator, Alexthemaster, told me about his corp, the Catskill Cartel, used 30-man fleets to take on high-level anomalies, Inquisitor, and Scout sites. But more importantly, they defended their home space from 3 separate invaders, picking off their miners using long-range hit-and-run style attacks. The cartel lost about 5 ships in the skirmish against KORP and ZBJ, but prevailed and are now prepared for any further aggression by those corporations. People are still having problems entering JITA, especially during peak hours due to the 1,000 player limit per system. But what do you think? Should they raise the limit of just JITA to 2,500 players, allowing more ebb and flow of players in and out of the system? In other news, the Lobster cult took on an 80-man fleet and defeated them using only 9 pilots. I'll have the link down in the description that shows the entire encounter. The corporation in the whelp fleet was DAHI. Apparently, the Lobster cult is having some good time now with that corporation alliance. Multiple corporations have been spreading out into Null to make it their home and to defend that territory, especially when sovereignty comes into play. Now, there's also been news of an ongoing war between opposing force and Genesis, and there was actually drama between one of the corps of Genesis and opposing force. The corp in question was Get Off My Lawn Corp. I won't go into this. This has been touched on by some other content creators. I really don't want to delve in too much to the drama. I just want to report the news back to you. The Genesis Alliance was formed with the help of a GoFundMe page and claims the honor of being the first alliance in the game. Now, they may be the first, but several alliances have formed in the game over the last week. Those alliances are the Silent Alliance, Goonswarm Empire, the Collective, DP, Genesis Federation, and the First Alliance. Now, that's been this week in review. Please be sure to check back as I will be making weekly news videos and to keep everyone up to date in New Eden with the ongoings of the game and the community.